Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second instruction session of Business Tech Masterclass. And today, guess what? We are talking CMS. Now, for those of you who are not really sure what exactly CMS stands for, is Content Management System. And as simple as it sounds, is actually a system that manages the content that we give it. The content can be anything. And the purpose of content management system is for us to create something so other people can see and so that we can present the content that we have. So I'm going to ask some random questions from you, so please play along with me. I try not to ask too many private questions. So let's say, TJ, what kind of business are you in?
Dentistry.
Great, you're a dentist. Lise, you're a lawyer, correct?
Well, no, I do two things. I'm a paralegal during the day, but my business is relationship coach.
Perfect. Okay, and Hitesh, I'm still confused on what exactly you do, Hitesh. So
primarily, I'm in the hotel industry.
Okay,
Management,
all right,
operations and marketing management.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So every business, in order to attract the clients or the clientele that basically you're after, you need to provide them with some value, with some content. You need to give them something to read, something to look at, so that in the end, they agree to be a part of your funnel, so that in the end, they agree to be a part of your business. And today we're going to take a look at pretty much all of them. So in our today's class, we're going to take a look at content management tools and strategies. If you don't mind, I'm just going to go on slideshow so it looks a little better. Content management tools and strategies. So we are going to quickly take a look at what tools are available other than the things that we hear about. We hear a few names many times a day, but there are a lot of things that exist that most people are not aware that they can actually use those. We're going to take a look at what you see, what you get platforms. In this case, we're going to do a case study on ClickFunnels. So we're going to take a look at how ClickFunnels or front-end builders like ClickFunnels work. We're going to actually create a page on ClickFunnels together, so we can take a look and see what principles are behind it. So if you need to create something for your business immediately, then naturally you shouldn't be forced to spend anything more than 15 minutes doing that. After that, we're going to get to the daddy of all platforms, WordPress. And we're going to take a look at the setup and tools. Now, we will talk about design. And as you can see on the fourth bullet point, the page layout and triangular design a little bit today. But as we go along, for every target that we have and whatever that we want to do, we're going to actually address the design language required for that specific task. And finally, we're going to take a look at some plugins and softwares that are on the net for free. We can all use them, but for whatever reason, we don't. So let's get started. First, what are content management tools? If you see a bunch of stuff that you don't know, don't panic. It's normal, because most people, when it comes to the upper row, most people don't know any of them except for WordPress. Overall content management tools or overall softwares would fall into two categories. So the free source or open source softwares. Let's see. With a show of hand, please show me how many of you are Apple people, are iPhone people. Raise your hand. Okay, I have 1, 2, 2. Okay, so how many of you are Android people? Raise your hand. High five to Android people. Anyway, so hi, George, by the way. Nice to see you again. You see, open source is basically any software that is developed by anybody on Earth contributing to it. That's it. Simple as that. So when Android was made, initially, Google made an operating system for phones because they wanted to be in the game of smartphones, not too far behind Apple. They created something called Android, and then they told every company, Samsung, I don't know, LG, or so on and so forth. They said, hey, do you want to be a part of it? You want to be it? Okay, here. This is what I made. This is the base I made. Go ahead and modify it for yourself. Go ahead and work on it. See how you can improve it. Surprisingly, today, the majority of Android updates that are installed on all phones around the world, except for iPhones, all Android-based phones around the world, even LG or Huawei or any other brand, the updates are mainly from Samsung. So this is what we mean by open source. So anybody can contribute. Now, examples of open source are WordPress, Joomla, Magneto, Drupal, etc. I'm going to quickly show you something. When I say open source, they're actually free. They're literally free. By that, I mean, this is my cPanel, if you remember from the previous session. Yes, very good. I have the option of installing many different content management systems. Yes, WordPress is the first one, but do you see how many there are? There is Joomla. Joomla used to be my favorite. I actually started web design with Joomla, and now when I look at it, I'm like, it was so difficult. It was so difficult. Like WordPress is like whatever. There is even a content management system for real estate industry. So there's a lot of people who spend extreme amounts of money, let's say getting someone to create a fully customizable real estate, let's say property management website with WordPress. Why would you want to do that with WordPress when you have this, for instance? So this is basically the idea behind what we call the open source content management systems. There are also obviously proprietary CMSs such as Shopify, ClickFunnels. So by that, we mean obviously this company and only this company has developed this builder, this CMS, and the only way you can access that is by paying and actually renting it from them. So why are we talking about this first? Because this is the first thing you need to know when you want to decide what platform to use for your business. Option A has slightly more work into it. The open source one is for people who are okay getting a little bit of tech related headache here and there. Okay, but because it's open source, as we say, like I hear it a lot, like I love it when people say sky is the limit. It's really sky is the limit because it's open source. Anybody can contribute to it. So whatever problem you have, there is a solution that somebody else has made for you. The second option is has a more premium feel into it, is a much better setup, like ClickFunnels, let's say, is much easier to work with. But the issue is if there is something you're looking for that is not available on that platform, you have no way of adding it to it. You're at the mercy of these platforms. Now, yes, let's be honest, there are a few exceptions. For example, this W that you see here, does anybody know this logo? This is Webflow, the new web design platform that you see the ad on YouTube every 5 minutes pretty much, or maybe it's just me, I don't know. But Webflow actually allows you to build a web page from scratch. But then as we get to the WordPress section, I will do a quick flashback here that even Webflow, which is a web design platform, does not allow for many softwares to be integrated with it. So that is why, if just last week, I got a project from someone, a client of mine, who asked to just simply had a website on Webflow and she wanted to add a simple payment option to it. That's it. No booking calendar, nothing. Just if you want to donate $5, click here. Something very familiar to most of you. Yeah, we couldn't do that on Webflow. Simply. No, we did that. I wrote the code and I inserted the code. It just, Webflow didn't allow it to work. So what I had to do in the end was to move the whole website to a WordPress platform and do it there. Now, this is not the biggest problem with, I need to pronounce this correctly, proprietary CMS. Jesus, so difficult, but it's like saying guardrail. But anyway, the biggest issue, honestly, is the cost. You do not pay to install WordPress or Drupal or Joomla or Magneto or any of these softwares that you see up here. Symfony is an international programming language, so it's supposed to be very high-end. It's supposed to be expensive. It's still free. If you want to install Symfony on your computer, you can do it in 5 minutes. It's easy. You can download it. Anyone can. So that's the biggest problem. So as a business owner, if you're using the second category, imagine, I go back to the analogy that we had 2 sessions ago, that we are like a delivery guy who's working, a pizza delivery guy who's working with a car. But in the second case, imagine that car is a taxi. You're getting a taxi every day to deliver pizzas. How's that economically sound? I don't know.
Terrible.
It is terrible, exactly. So that would be your judgment. For me personally, would I use the second category? Absolutely. As I will give you an example in 5 minutes, and we're going to make a page with ClickFunnels. I actually have a ClickFunnels account and I use it. But when do I use it? When I need a page right now for tomorrow morning. I don't have time to research for the tools that would go with WordPress. So I go with ClickFunnels, but we will get back to that in 10 minutes.
Can I ask you something?
Just could you give me 1 second to go
Okay.
through what you see, what you get? I'm going to I'm going to give a Q&A time. Just 1 second. All right. So as this is just the example I wanted to give you before we go on actually build something. The reason the second group, in this case, ClickFunnels, is actually good, the positive point of these platforms is simply, as you can see, the many templates, the target related templates that they make for you. So you have opt-in pages, you have sales pages, you have webinar pages, and so on and so forth. Especially in this modern era of like post-COVID, sort of everything is online, everybody's talking to each other online, everybody's selling everything online. Platforms like ClickFunnels can actually be quite handy. The other benefit would be they allow you to create a separate page for every sector of your sales funnel. So what I'm trying to basically get across here is that these ClickFunnels and WordPress, in terms of what you can do with them, they're not very different. Yeah, WordPress is a little, your hands are a little more open, but this is better tailored to the understanding of a business person. So the terminology that is used here is very close to what we do. Like you want a webinar, go to ClickFunnels. It actually has a tab called webinar. The only reason these people sell their product for $97 a month or more is just wording. Otherwise, we're going to get to WordPress. You will see that you have the exact same thing, the list of your steps, pages, posts, and so on and so forth. And you also have a lot of templates depending on the tools that you use. The only difference is that here you pay $100 a month, at least. That's the US dollars. And when you go to WordPress, let's say you buy your tools once, altogether maybe $100, $150, and you never buy them again until the end of your life. So that is the main point. So before we go any further, please ask me questions if you have any, and please start by raising your hand so we can go one by one. If anybody has a question, yes, I am, please.
First of all, sorry for coughing. I forgot to
No,
mute.
don't worry.
Could you please go back to cPanel page?
To the cPanel page, absolutely. Yes. Okay.
And when you were mentioning about WordPress and other softwares, you mentioned open real estate.
Yeah.
So first of all, do we have that for other dentistry? Like, do we have such a thing for dentists or lawyers or?
There could be. I don't know, to be very honest. Like, I want to say this is my class, so I would love to say, yes, I know, and this is what exactly it is. The point is, because they're open source, you never know if it exists or not. Go and actually search for it. There's a good chance that it does. Most probably somebody has already created that for you.
So my main question is that I have seen templates out there that are for dentists or for any industry, that you actually go and you choose one of those templates and you start developing your website. But I could not understand whether that is different than this, or what sort of things are we talking about? I couldn't relate them together.
We will get there. So because you're thinking ahead, so bear with me, we will get there. But as you said, there are templates, and templates, as you say, every time you say template, you're talking about WordPress or ClickFunnels and stuff, pretty much. Okay. But this is basically just me showing that there are many different systems, many different base softwares that you can use, but we will get to templates. All right. Hitesh, do you have a question?
No, not right now. I mean, I did, the Humanity 101 website you did.
Mhm.
I initially built the website in Wix, and as I was building it, figured out how limited those proprietary CMSs can be.
Yes.
And then when I tried to go to WordPress, it being open source, I mean, it was confusing. It was, where do I start?
Yeah, where do
You
I
know,
get everything? So today, actually,
exactly.
we're gonna answer all of that. Perfect. So, Lise, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, awesome. And George, I don't see you, so I assume you're good. So let's go on. What we're gonna do, my friends, is first we're gonna take a look at basically different modules in ClickFunnels today. Just maybe this is just an example. That's why I called it case study of ClickFunnels. By knowing how this works, if you're using, let's say, Infusionsoft or any other CMS of that to that matter, they all behave in the same way. Now, ClickFunnels is actually a very good example, because it is everybody else has been trying to catch these guys. So everything else is sort of a better or a worse copy of ClickFunnels. So that is the main reason I'm doing ClickFunnels. Otherwise, I would go to Kajabi or other ones. But once you understand this, everything else is understandable.
It's 9/11 of your industry.
Yes, pretty much. Now, that by 9/11, he's referring to Porsche, not September 11 or something. Okay, just to be clear, don't send helicopters. Okay, we're talking about cars. Now, God, good that I shaved today. Otherwise, the helicopters would be here by now. Anyway, let's not be political. ClickFunnels has actually, although I'm known for not liking it, but I like it for this reason. They actually have a very good selection of tools and elements, as you can see. This should be familiar to most people. Like the categories that they give you, you see stuff that you don't really see in many others, such as countdown. Okay, and I will show you what beautiful effects you can actually create with this. Things, let's say you can create a page, you can hide half of the page, and then decide and then tell ClickFunnels, hey, just using this tool, hey, show this one on this date and this time, show the other one, bring it up on that day and that time. You can actually set up a website that is living and evolving and updating itself for the next year. You can do it all at once, log out and never go back again. And it will automatically bring up stuff that you want to be updated. You want to release a blog post once a month? Good. Write all of your blog posts and then set the time for the post to be released at a specific date or time. Now, again, everything that we do here is possible to be done on WordPress as well. Okay, just to say that, just to clarify that. Now, there are the issues. Yes, this is the main reason I don't like ClickFunnels or anything else for that matter. Ready, set. I was trying to buy an account. Okay, like this is the least you can do. Get my money. Please take my money, people. Okay, I put my credit card. I didn't bring my credit card image here just in case, I don't have much money. But anyway, everything else, so I filled out the form. Everything was correct. There were no errors. And it wasn't even highlighting anything as an error. It was just telling me there was a problem processing your request. Now, in the end, I gave up. I shut down the whole window and I shut down my computer. I come back maybe in the afternoon and I accidentally decide to log into ClickFunnels and I see that I actually have an account. It has created me an account and it has charged me twice. They have charged me $297. Guess what? They shouldn't even have charged me once because they have 14 days of trial, as you can see here. My credit card was charged twice. So this is the example of problems that I'm talking about when I say ClickFunnels has issues or others have issues, because let's be honest, this is a very good platform, but it was made in a hurry to make money. So there are so many bugs behind it. Like sometimes I feel so sorry when I see some of my clients are stuck with this, and they defend it. ClickFunnels has become a religion. People defend it so much, like, oh yes, no, somebody told me ClickFunnels is perfect. Of course, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. Now let's go to actual work and less talking. Before we start building something, I want to take a minute and just quickly, because we are talking about CMS, let's talk about content and how it is managed. This is the most fundamental concept that every person who is working with CMS needs to know. It's like a layer cake, pretty much. Things sit on top of each other. Simple as that. Do you have a page that looks wonky and weird? Have you ever tried to make it and then when you look at it and you say, oh, half of my picture is out of the screen, or oh, my fonts are into each other, oh, things like when I look at it on my phone, everything is a mess. It's because of this. And to be honest, it is so easy to fix, you would be surprised. And again, to be very honest, last month, I just made something around $2,000 of my income was just from doing this for people. Not building something, people coming to me and saying, hey, I have a website, but things are not looking well. Can you fix it? So $2,000, I repeat. And that's not nothing. Like setting the gaps and everything takes 5 minutes of time. So why not do it ourselves? For this, first, I decided to show you the 4 basic sections. You see, every web page has layers. The biggest layer is a section. And please just don't mix these colors with these colors. This is a snapshot from a Divi page. So if you see green here, this is not the same green. Every web page is made of 4 basic building blocks. You have sections, you have rows, columns, and elements. So the best example would be this one, the Divi Builder. You see that you have the purple one is the whole page, basically. So that doesn't count. I have a section, which is a big container, the blue one. Inside that, I have a row. Inside this row, I have 2 columns, the right column and the left column. And inside every column, I have elements. On the left column, I have 2 texts. On the right element, I have social media follow. Quick question. In this, what did I do? Here, in this row, how many elements do I have? 4. How many columns do I have?
4.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly. 1, 2, 3, 4. George, I know you want to punch me right now, but yeah, bear with me. Not yet, after the class. Now, the issue being, now I want to again give you one of my grandma analogies. If I have a layer cake, yes, let's say I have a layer cake, which is like the bottom layer is sitting on the tray, and then the higher layer is sitting on top of the lower layer and everything. If I take the whole tray and move it, does the rest of the cake move with it? Of course, it does. Exact same idea here. So what does this tell us? If we want to modify our content, we always modify the biggest element if we can. Then the priority goes to the one after it. We never ever touch the gaps and everything on the elements unless we have to. Now, I will show you the results at the end of today's class. One of my associates made a page which looks on the screen, looks amazing. It looks so beautiful until you change to a smaller screen. Then it does not look so amazing. Do you know the reason? This person wanted a small gap between, let's say, these 4 texts. Instead of going to the row and say, hey, the gap between the columns should be this much, he went to each element and added some gap on the 2 sides. So what was the result when you went to the smaller screen? The text on the right went outside the screen, the text on the left went outside the screen, and the text in the middle were all into each other. So I will show you all of these examples and how easy they are to fix. Is the idea of section, row, column, element clear? Let's go. Right on. So,
Can you please for a second
Yeah.
when you were counting the last one, we said there are 4 columns, while
Yes.
we didn't consider the green one, did we?
The green one is a row, as it says here.
So we don't consider it as an element for that?
Element is the gray one that you have inside. When I say element, I'm talking about text or picture or basically everything, the content that you put there.
Mhm.
Okay. The column is the column. The column is the smallest container. You actually don't see the column written here, but you see you have on the top row, you have 2 columns. On the lower row, you have 4 columns. And inside each column, you have one element. You have a text, another text, another text, and another text. On the upper one, you have 2 columns. On the left column, you have 2 texts, 2 elements. On the right column, you have 1 element.
Mhm.
Does it make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. And by the way, if you're thinking, who the hell is this guy? I was just on YouTube yesterday, and I saw some very interesting. This was a very interesting video, so I just put it here. If you want to watch it later, watch it. This, if you have ClickFunnels, watch this. Actually, even if you don't have ClickFunnels, still watch it, because the points that he's making apply to all web platforms. But let's get to work. We're going to actually create a page on ClickFunnels. And like I said, ClickFunnels is an example. The same rule applies to every front-end builder platform that is out there. Makes no difference. So this is, welcome to my ClickFunnels account, fresh and clean, and for another half a day. Anyway, so I'm going to try and create a funnel. I see I've already created one about 20 hours ago. So let's go ahead and create another one. So I'm going to build a new funnel. Now, front-end builders, like I said, is all about simplicity and making it closer to their own niche market. So their niche market is coaches, consultants, teachers, people who are creating like webinars and events, right? So already what it's giving me is that, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to collect emails? Do you want to sell your product, or do you want to host a webinar? My answer is none of them. So let's give it an example. Let's give it a name. Let's call Business Tech Masterclass Test Funnel. Now, again, is this really a funnel like we talked about? No. You will see that what these guys call a funnel and how beautifully they have marketed by just adding this small green piece so that people feel that these steps are leading into each other while they are not. This is just a list. This is the tool. Do you see the small triangle here? This is what allows them to charge people $100 a month. That's it. People pay ClickFunnels $100 a month because it has this triangle. So it makes them think that this means that if I add another step, come on, if I add another step, the first step is leading into the second one, which is just an illusion. It doesn't. You can connect, it's the internet, it's links. You can connect everything to everything. Order has no meaning in the web. So, and the second tool that they have, like I mentioned earlier, is simply organizing it and using templates and wordage and verbiage, basically, that is the most pleasant to their target market. That's all they've done. They have done a very good job. Again, like I said, I personally use it sometimes, but why would you if you don't need to? All right, now let's take a look at some of this. I'm actually going to, let me just quickly erase this, get rid of this. I don't need it. Yes, thank you. Let's add a new one. We're going to add the sales page very quickly. Let's call it, Sell Sherlock. By path, they mean what is the link that they will be trying to create for you. Let's call it, again, Sherlock. By the way, I'm not trying to, we are not talking about the whole design process. I just want to show you how those containers and sections work. So in this case, I want to go to a sales page. I want to create a sales page. This is a very good example of all the templates that I have. Let's take a look at this one. Okay. Maybe something a little more attractive, perhaps. Yes, this should good. This should be good. Oh, yes. Look at that. Alrighty. I'm going to use that. The reason ClickFunnels or other front end builders like Wix, like many others, are easy to work with, on the surface at least, is this, that you can simply import and then edit a page. Simple as that. Now, what's the point I'm trying to make here is, as I hover over stuff, you can see what is happening. First, what color is the largest one? Green. Now, the colors, it's not a color coding system at all, so don't mix it up, like I said. But what is this? The green one is my section, correct? Very good. What is the blue one? Excuse me. These are my rows and columns, and then these are my elements, right? So I have one row here with two columns. I have one row here with one column. And inside it, I have my elements. Does it make sense?
The row with the two columns, how did you decipher as two columns? Oh, okay, okay, I see it.
Take a look
The
at it.
divider in the middle.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Now let's add another one. What I want to do is I want to modify, I want to modify this section a little bit. So so that if you're working with your own ClickFunnels, you know how exactly things work, how to add modules and so on and so forth. So in this case, I want to add another column. So what kind of column do we want? What kind of row do we want? We want a row with 3 columns. And I have decided to put 3 elements, obviously, in here, or not even 3 elements. I want to have an element here and want to have an element here. Why have I decided to do that? Because I want my elements to stand apart from each other. So I've created a row with 3 columns, but I'm going to leave the middle one empty. So let's go ahead. So what do I want to put here? I'm going to put an image. Now, this, to be very honest, is the strength point of ClickFunnels or other. Oh, yes, I want to put my logo. This is the strength of platforms like ClickFunnels, that you don't really need to worry about the size of your images or rendering of your images, because the part of that $97 that you pay is these guys optimizing your website for you. So they automatically reduce the size. I'm sorry, I'm just going to add image. They automatically reduce the size of the file. They automatically give you, actually recently, they automatically give you a few side themes for your images. Let's say they allow you to play with your responsive modes and so on and so forth. Now, as we are, and you can also take a look at, like, if you want to see how people actually see it, or like A/B testing, we will get there. They are adding all of these features as we go. What are the issues with it? Let's take a look at it. One of the first times that I was working with ClickFunnels, the biggest problem that I had was simply this. That it does not allow me. It's like, do you remember when I said the pre-made layout builders that have limitations? This is a good example of one of the limitations. I want my image to be wide and narrow. I want to make it ugly on purpose. It's up to me. But I just decided I want to make it narrow. I want to make it wide and like shallow in height. ClickFunnels, for instance, doesn't really allow me to do that. And even if I try to do this, when people look at it, it is going to go back to its original shape. So there are few things, as we said, as I said, there are few things that they are working on. It's evolving, it's getting better, but no front-end builder platform is perfect. Now, let's add another tool here. I would like to add a countdown tool here. Let's go. Okay, let's go to minute timer or day timer, whichever that we like. Now, I want to modify this. as you can see, just again, just like any other builder, you have the option to modify right from here or duplicate a layer or delete a layer. Do these help us? Yes, absolutely, especially this one. If you're lazy like me, if I create something like a text that I like and the font and everything is good, and then I want something like that somewhere else, I don't create it again. I just go to the one that I created, I duplicate it, and then I take it with myself wherever I want. So in that sense, all of these systems work pretty much similar to each other. Is the idea of section, row, column, and how they work on the page okay? Is everybody fine with that? Yep. Alrighty. Now I want to show you why things like ClickFunnels can be fun. Okay, we have an evergreen timer here. First, I'm going to quickly change the design. Let's say I want to make it look like this a little bit so it looks a tiny bit better and it's more visible. Now, what I want this to do, visit action, expire section, redirect. There are many things I can do. I can set a timer, and when the timer is done, I want whoever is on this page or whoever visits this page to be directed to another page. This is a very good tool for sales pages. You have an offer, the offer lasts for the next 5 days. And after that, you want people to go to another sales page for another, with another price. Why? Let's say George and I were working on something recently. So that's a very good example. An event is going to be, let's say, $10 for the next 10 days. And from day 11, it's going to be $15. Okay. So what you do is you create a sales page, you duplicate the sales page, but one of them you set it for $10, the other one you set it for $15, and you don't share the $15 link with anyone. You share the $10 link with people, but then on the $10 page, you're going to put this timer, and when time is up, it is going to automatically redirect people to the $15 page. So in those senses, ClickFunnels or other builders are actually quite fun to work with. And a tool that I use that I was telling you about is this, show and hide elements. I love this. So hide these or show these. Like when the time comes, when the 10, I don't know, in 10 hours and 30 minutes and for example, 28 minutes or whatever that it is, I want you to hide these elements and show these elements. Simple as that. So let's say I have this get started, this free sign up. I want this offer to come up only at a specific time. So I can actually, for a date, I need to choose another tool, which has day option as well. I'm just using the timer that this is within 1 day. You also have other tools you can use for set it for next month, whenever that you like. And yes, hide these. Hide which one? I want this whole thing to be hidden at that time. Or I only want this row, or I only want this element to be hidden or shown. Does it make sense? What I'm doing is basically I'm tying the action of that timer to this. Now, obviously time is not enough. There can never be enough time to go through every detail. But the beauty of platforms like ClickFunnels is that when it comes to gaps and margin, they do it for you automatically. Also, the downfall of front-end builders like ClickFunnels and everything else is that they set the margins for you. There are margins that you simply cannot overwrite. Let's give you an example. We're going to take a look at we're going to actually take a look at our own website here, Tech Master Academy. Now, this one is a WordPress-based website, but oh God, Zoom, please stop killing my computer. All right, let's give you an example. The best example I can give you would be a text like this. You see our programs help you learn about. These are two separate text modules, text elements, but they are somehow overlapping just because I liked that effect. I wanted one of them to be, a little grayish in the background. So it makes a beautiful style. Okay. On WordPress, this is 2 minutes to create. On ClickFunnels, if you can do it, which in many cases you can't, if you can, it's going to take quite a while. And here is a reason. Let's say I simply want this. I want the row to stay here, but I want this element to move. So the issue is that this is all I have. That's the only adjustment that I can play with. Does it make sense? There we go. So like I said, again, it is in interest of having proper design. It's best if you move the whole row or the whole column. But again, we are at the mercy of ClickFunnels in this example. So ClickFunnels doesn't even allow me to move columns. It does allow me to move rows, but it can only give a positive value. You cannot give a negative value. And later you will see that in WordPress, because it's a blank canvas, you can give it any value that you want. You can put a minus 200 pixel value here and bring all of this column up here, let's say. So as we get to WordPress, you're going to see that. All right. Does anybody have any questions before we get out of ClickFunnels and onto our next one? Yes.
No, pretty good.
George, you had a question.
Yeah, how do you get to that timer area again, Sherlock?
Yes, sir. This is an element. So let me just
What's an element?
Yeah, let me just erase it. There you
It's
go.
part of ClickFunnels?
Yeah. So here, you see countdown?
Oh, okay, so it's built in.
So
Oh, easy.
I have 3 timers. I can have a day timer, countdown to a minute timer. So in this case, I'm going to go with here, day timer, which let me just quickly change the theme so you can see it a little more clearly. So this is a day timer, or you can also have, let's add another one. Come on. Let's add another one. In this case, I'll be adding just the, like here, maybe. Yes. And this is a more complete version. This one would be, as you can see, it has day, hour, so on and so forth. So
It's really good for promotions then.
it's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah. So again, like I said, the sales page elements, overall, the elements that specific ClickFunnels has been adding to their pages, to their builder, are amazing. They are simply amazing. Are there issues? Yeah, there are a few issues as well. Let's give an example. Creating an anchor link. Now we will get to that. I'm sure you have all seen that you want, like there is a button, like let's say a menu. When you click on it, it automatically scrolls to one section of your page. Now, when we get to CSS, you will see it's actually very easy. You simply add, I can show you right now. You're supposed to add a tag here and then go ahead and add the same tag to this button. So when people click that button, it will bring it here. On WordPress or on Joomla, or basically on most like on most builders, not front-end builders, just builders, it's very easy to do that. Super easy, because they follow what we call strings of code. They read the code as one line. ClickFunnels doesn't do that. So if you want to do something as simple as this, you actually need to go and search a lot. Has somebody done this on ClickFunnels? What did you write? How did you do it? And then come and try and hope to be able to actually add that in a custom CSS section and code. Now, this is not something we are interested in. This is not something we like. Now, maybe I like it, you definitely don't like it. So that is why I repeat, things like ClickFunnels are actually very good for a short-term use. You want to get it, you want it for your event, you use it, and you get rid of it. I want to pause the recording for a second, if I can, because I want to say something. We are back from saying things that we shouldn't have said anyway, so now we're continuing recording. Hitesh, you had a question, please go.
Yeah, this TransLink website.
Yeah.
You said that like the today's alerts section, that's custom coding.
The whole website is custom coded, so this is not built on a platform.
So if I was doing something in WordPress and I wanted to add, say, that section of this website, Could I access that custom coding code somehow or no?
Of these guys,
Yeah.
no. You can only see the rendered code. That's
Mm-hmm.
why the person who coded this website charged them $40,000. Now it's
Mhm.
just theirs, but you don't need that. Most probably the thing that you want to import into your WordPress website already has a plugin. Somebody has written that custom code. Okay.
Oh, that's right. It's open source.
Right. It's open
Okay.
source.
Okay, that's
Exactly.
right.
Now,
Forgot.
but again, to answer the question, why doesn't an organization like TransLink use WordPress like open source? Because there is no plugin for this. Okay, this is their own internal system. Their whole internal system is custom coded. So their website had to be custom coded as well to work well with the rest.
Okay. So
Yes.
that sounds like it's kind of complicated then.
It is very complicated. And to be very honest, like my hope and every web designer's hope is to be able to call themselves a web developer. So I'm a minor web developer. Yes, I can write a plugin. Yes, I can do certain coding, CSS customization to the website, but this is a whole other level. So I would never want to involve myself in that. It's very difficult.
Mm.
Now, going back to what we were talking about. So basically, this is how every web page works. Simple as that. You have sections, you have rows and columns, and then you have elements. Every web page, good that we are here. Every web page. Now, like, do you remember? If you remember here, I said that we are always at the mercy of these guys deciding how much gap we can define. Is it possible? What do you mean by gap, Sherlock? Show me that gap. All right, guys, I'm in Google Chrome and I want to show you something interesting. I'm pressing F12. This is called Developer Tool. This is pretty much the website. This is my website. This is how it's coded. This is exactly, Hitisha, as you asked, all of those custom codes, all of those scripts that are added using different softwares. Okay. So yes, I can create something like this with this exact functions. I can do that using, like, if I write everything from scratch, but then I have to write all of these and many, many others myself. All right.
So this is the raw coding.
This is not raw coding. This is still,
Oh.
you can do this on every website, but you see the rendered code. You are basically, you're looking at a file we call htaccess file. We will get to that. But what you're looking at is what the computer needs to receive from the website in order to load the website, to start loading the website. Now, I brought you here to show you this. Take a look at that. This is the structure of every web page. Every web page. There's a certain section. Okay. Now I have, you can actually see how wide the screen of a certain website is. Okay. And I will, when we get to it today, you will see that these numbers are in pixels. I will tell you what exactly we mean by pixel. But every web page has containers, has padding, has borders, has margins, and so on and so forth. It's the same thing that we translate into, let me close this, that we translate into section, row and column, and also elements. Does it make sense? So this is the actual view of a page. This is how a computer looks at your website. Now, here's something. Do you see that it says blank, 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 and then 1348? Oh God, I love computers and internet. This is so exciting. Because my first reaction was like, holy, this is being recorded. I cannot say bad words. My page is blank. And then there is 1300 pixels. No, if I go inside my website, if I log in inside my developer side of the website to the backend and then bring this up, you will see the correct numbers here. Why is my computer showing me like this, blank, 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 and then everything in one container? What you're looking at is something we call a cached image. This is just a picture. This is not my website, really. You are not looking at the element. This is a photo taken from my website. Why does the internet do this? Because I want my website to load faster. A simple photo loads much faster than every element loading on its own. Now, I know you are saying, but sure, like that's not a photo, things are moving. Yes, this is just an analogy. Like what the computers do is to take a mental picture of your website. And when somebody wants to visit your website, they send that mental picture first, so it shows on the screen until the next 3, 4, 5 seconds passes and the actual website loads. To simplify and to make sure the website always looks the same, this is what computers do. They compress everything, they take a picture and they say, okay, this picture is 1,348 pixels wide and I don't know, 400 or 4,656 pixels high. Done. So I know that some of you might be going like, what the hell are you talking about? When we get to WordPress, bear with me, you will see. But I just wanted to show you that the same things that we were talking about here, basically these layers, this is how computers understand web pages. So what is the result of that? If I don't modify my section and I modify everything inside my section to get the result that I want, the moment that something happens to my section, all of those modifications are going to be affected as well. Yes. So this is just to answer the question. Oh my God, my website looks so ugly. I put so much time into it and nothing sits next to the other one. Yes, this is the reason. Now, guys, feel free, take a look at this. If you have ClickFunnels, if you are interested, take a look at this. Like I said, even if you don't have ClickFunnels, still take a look at this. This is the example this person is giving is, let's say, the payment option on ClickFunnels not working. So this person basically says, you will see the person says, hey, I went there and I added, let's say, another element, which was for payments, or I don't know where exactly it should be. Like a payments form or so on and so forth. Yes, like billing, like here, one of these, and it's not processing the credit card. And then he shows you how simply web pages can be deceiving us by hiding stuff from us. We will get there. All right. Anybody has any major questions on ClickFunnels, considering that on Tuesday on our workshop session, we are actually going to create ClickFunnels and WordPress pages. But does anybody have a specific question right now about ClickFunnels? All good? Perfect. Let's go. So, Mr. ClickFunnels, thank you very much. It was a lot of fun. One last thing I should tell you is that take a look and see how long it takes for this to save. That was fast. Right? If you make this page 3 times as long as it is, this saving time is going to be 3 or 4 times longer. I'm just giving you a warning. Although this is a content management system, it's not made to manage large loads of content. If you have a lot of content, look elsewhere. Again, a very dear friend of mine, who is the most important, pretty much, business coach I know, recently had this issue. They uploaded ridiculous number of links onto ClickFunnels, and they expected it to work. It should work naturally, but after a certain time, it would not save at all. And do you see how I can modify everything right now and how I can move things up and down? None of these functions were working. Nothing was working. When we reached out to ClickFunnels tech support, after, I think I've told this story for one of you, but after almost, and yes, ClickFunnels, if you're watching this, I'm saying this happened. After 45 minutes of tech support chat and email, not even call, the guy flipped out and saying, what do you want from me? I'm not even, I don't even work for ClickFunnels. I repeat, the tech support that we got was from this chatbot here. So we were chatting to an actual person. This person was a gentleman in India. India is known for the greatest brains in IT. Definitely not a question there. Hitesh, high five. But no, serious, it is given, man. Like if Indian people stop doing IT and surgeries, we will all die because of lack of internet or heart attacks. So anyway, there you go. But there was a guy, the tech support was a kid in India. He didn't really know what he was doing. He got frustrated. We got frustrated. And we realized that ClickFunnels doesn't even have a team. ClickFunnels delegates work to people on Fiverr or in other places to do, to basically to help, to tell you how to solve your own issue. They don't even have access to the back end of ClickFunnels. So I'm giving you all of these heads ups. This is a very beautiful, easy to use. Like you said, we can import a page within 2 minutes and start editing the images and everything else. But if it breaks, you have no way of going back.
Hold on, they charge $97 and no tech support.
Exactly.
Wow.
Now, I do not, I don't want to, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist here, but I've always been against these guys, samples of these guys, mainly ClickFunnels, because of the low quality of service that they deliver. But then I learned that a lot of people who promote ClickFunnels, they do so because of, I cannot find it here. If you go and search ClickFunnels affiliates, you can see that you can get access. They actually pay you if you help sell ClickFunnels to people. So please don't judge the people you know based on what I'm saying. I'm not saying everybody does that, but it is a very common practice. And if you go on YouTube and search ClickFunnels, problems with ClickFunnels, you will see there are a lot of videos, people saying, hey, let's say I am fed up with people trying to push ClickFunnels and sell it just because they are going to sell $1 million, yada, 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 so on and so forth, like that. So huge respect for people who have developed this. Could I develop something like this? Of course not. So I'm going to zip my mouth on that. But as a consumer, I personally would not use something like ClickFunnels for my own purposes. Like I said, I do own an account with ClickFunnels, but only because I use it for teaching. That's it. No other reasons. Okay. Let's go back, and we're almost done. No, I'm just kidding. This is just getting warmed up. So let's get to the daddy, WordPress and others. Now, next, in our following sessions, we are going to get to I'm going to show you how to install or debug your WordPress. You don't need to be installing everything for yourself. Like Lise, I don't think you personally care about this, or George, I don't think you really want to go and set up everything from scratch, but I'm going to show you how to debug and troubleshoot all of your WordPress platforms. If you have a website, or at least you can, how to reach the root files and how to modify and fix them. Now, we talked about ClickFunnels. We didn't really get to talk about WordPress.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
I'm very happy being a dentist.
Why?
It's
easier. Okay.
I have to deal with these things. Oh my goodness.
So WordPress. Now, I can give you 10,000 things that I like about WordPress, and I can give you not 10,000, but I can give you 1,000 things that I don't like about WordPress, just like any other. So I'm not trying to sell you on WordPress. No, WordPress is number one. The thing that I don't like about WordPress is not as easy to work with WordPress as it is with ClickFunnels. The ClickFunnels is designed for anybody with zero understanding of web design and computers to come and put something together. That's why I said I really give them a high five. They have done a good job on that. Same with Wix. Like you don't, if all you need to have is a page for your resume because you want to look cool, and when you go for a job interview, they say, hey, can we have your resume? You say, yeah, just go to sherlockjabari.com. Huh. Then yeah, absolutely. By all means, ClickFunnels, Wix, they are amazing for this. Perfect. But if you need anything higher than that, like the functions we talked about, then it really is a question of how much are you willing to pay for it and how much customization you want. Those 10,000, most of those 10,000 things that I do like about WordPress is that it allows you to customize everything. Here's an example. In ClickFunnels that we just looked at, we had basically one type of content, which was pages, or as ClickFunnels calls it, steps. All right. And like I said, that's just verbiage because it makes people think that if you use ClickFunnels, it's a complete sales funnel and people are going to buy from you, which is just ridiculous. No, that doesn't happen like that. WordPress gives you not one, but 4 different category contents. So it's not just pages. They already divided your content into 4 different categories, and I will tell you why. And instead of starting with pages, I'm going to start with posts, because pages is the simplest one. What is a post? Blog post, obviously, but do I need to use it as a blog post? Does WordPress really think of it as a blog post? No. This is content category 1, is predefined blog post layout. What does it mean? If you go to any blog, you see that there is what do you call, on the right side of the screen. I think I've mirrored my screen, so I don't know. When I say this, do you see right or do you see left? I don't hear you, but okay.
It's left. Your right's left. Mirror image.
Okay, anyway, so on the right side, the right-hand side of the screen, usually on a blog, you see a column which has a search bar and everything. And then on the left side, you have the content. That's the usual accepted blog style layout. All right. So this is all it means. That's when it says post. So it's a sort of a formatted, predefined blog post layout. It also gives you the ability to collect comments on that content. So if you want, by the way, you can still add the same features to your pages, just saying, okay? But these are just predefined, sort of that WordPress tried to make some basic things available to everyone. So if they want to use it, they can do it faster. And then I will show you how, on one of my recent projects, how the craziest way I have used posts, which have nothing to do with posts. I use it for redirections. We will talk about that in a second. And then it gives you custom permalinks. What does it mean? You can choose this to be listlevine.com/myblogtoday or anything else that you want. Is it important? Yeah, on ClickFunnels, you cannot do that. Simple. You just can't. All right. ClickFunnels, it has so many users, and because they're all using, technically, they're all using one domain, clickfunnels.com/whatever, that the actual URL can never be what you want. There's always numbers and @ and everything inside it. And also, it's a very, very strong tool for SEO. And we will get to it when we're the last session when we're talking about SEO. I'm going to show you the different tricks you can pull to improve your SEO game using posts. Second content category, media. So media repository, all of your media can be found here. That can be images, videos, PDFs, so on and so forth. Now, there are a lot of things here that I do like. For example, yes, by default, it allows you to crop your images and edit your image to some extent on WordPress without adding anything to it. Again, you can create a custom link for that image. Why is that important? I can tell you right now. Have you ever, it's not very important right now anymore, let's say, but 10 years ago, 5 years ago, when clouds were not very common, okay, if you wanted to share something with someone, the easiest way, if you had a website, easiest way would be to upload that image into your WordPress, create the link that you want for that image only, and send that link to your friend so they can download it, because you have rented, you have basically purchased a hosting service. So why not use it? You know what I mean? Again, this is to answer questions for people who say, oh yes, last month I meet a lot of these people every day. Last month I spent this much on OneDrive, I spent that much on that software, and I spent this much on this other software. And I'm like, why did you pay for OneDrive? How much did you pay? Yeah, $120. Why did you do that? Because I wanted space to share content with someone. I was like, why do you have a website? And that is the moment you actually see in people's eyes. They can't connect the dots to each other. What does that have to do with this? Your hosting is simply a rented space on somebody's computer. Yeah, good. So if you really want to share something, especially if it's something private, why put it on a shared, like an unsecure server like Google or Amazon or whatever, when you have your own service? It's private. It's like you already have a Ferrari, but you go and get a taxi. Like, I want to shoot myself, like, when you do that. And yes, I know people who do that.
Most of them.
Most of them, exactly.
So then hosting websites where you purchase hosting can be used as like Google Drive or OneDrive or something like
Yes,
that.
this is your space. Now I
Huh.
go back here. This is your space. I'm going to go to my cPanel here. Why do you think you have a file manager? Here, these are your files. You want, and you don't, yes, my websites are here, but nobody has said that I cannot add another folder, add whatever content I want in here, and then share the link with people.
So you can add a folder, say, and then put some PDF documents you want to share,
Anything.
and
you
then
know
give that
what?
folder a URL link, a
Yeah,
URL
now,
address.
if you are doing this on behalf of your own business, okay, then I will show you in a second. What you can do is actually much simpler. I'm going to log out of here. Let's say I want to share this session's PDF, the homework PDF with you, okay, but because I don't know how many users I have, I don't know how long it takes for people to log in, log out, whatever. What I do is to go to the back end of what? Sorry. I go to the back end of TechMaster Academy. So by the way, my computer is very slow right now because I'm running 10 million things here. So just be a little patient if you can. Or if not, I have to stop sharing Zoom and then load this page and bring it back to you. For whatever reason, Zoom has, with the new update, it has become crazy. Anyway, so what I can do, Hitesh, is very simple. I'm from TechMaster Academy. I want to share a PDF with you who is a student of TechMaster Academy. Perfect. So I go to TechMaster Academy. If it loads, I go to media. I will upload my PDF and we'll
That's
get
your
the link.
hosting, basically, right?
This is not my, this is my website, which is on my hosting, but my website is using the space of my hosting, right? Now, I will tell you why, if you have a larger file, you shouldn't do it this way, because it will slow down your website. Okay. But if you just have a PDF, you go to media, it's just, I love it. That's why I love, it's so simple. They made it so simple. Actually, it's so simple, it's scary. Because if it's too simple, you're like, okay, I don't know where to go. Like, how is it even possible to do that? Yeah, if my computer doesn't die, it will happen. Now, if I want to share, okay, let's say I want to, I don't even have a PDF. If you want to add a PDF, you add a PDF. And I'm sorry, Hitesh, I'm not going to do it right now because my computer will die most
No,
probably.
no problem, no problem.
But let's say if I have uploaded my PDF here, let's say this image is my PDF. I click on it and it has its own URL. Now let's do something.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to copy and I'm going to drop this in chat. Guys, go ahead and open this link and tell me what you see. You just see the image, right? Do you see my website?
Yeah, I see
No.
the image. Nope.
You just see the image. That's the whole point. Yes, your hosting, your website is everything that you can possibly need. I repeat. And the whole point of this course, to be very honest, like friend to friend, is that I'm just fed up of people coming to me and saying, like, or even themselves, they're pulling their hair. I'm like, what's happening? I'm trying to build this on Kajabi and I don't know how. I'm like, okay, why are you building this on Kajabi? They're like, because it's good. Okay, again, why are you be using Kajabi for this? And how much are you paying? $200 a month only. So you're paying $200 a month for your Kajabi. You're paying $100 a month for your ClickFunnels. You're paying $20 a month for your cloud. So you're telling me that you're spending, like, let's say $500 or so, or $1,000 or $2,000 a year to maintain your business. And this is money that you don't even need to spend. So this is the whole reason why I'm here doing this, honestly. Now, let's go on.
Like crying right now. I spent so much money that I really did not have to spend on ClickFunnels and other shit.
I totally understand. You see, now that's not money, that is still money well spent. Look at it this way, at least, because you spend the money. It's like you either learn to do something or you pay other people to do it for you. If you're using ClickFunnels, you're paying somebody else to do it for you. Okay. So, but now that you have this knowledge that you know what, I don't need to do that anymore. But back then, well, you didn't have that knowledge, so you had to pay for it. And that's totally understandable. I do that too. I was making a confession to Hitesh, I think yesterday, like there was a project, I was so low on time and it was so difficult to do that in the end I gave up. I hired someone he was a gentleman in Philippines, and I was like, hey, can you write this code for me tonight, please? So yes, sometimes you pay people to do something for you. Of course, that is understandable. But it doesn't mean that I should, every time I get a project, I'm going to pay that guy to do it for me. No, then I'm, number one, if things go sideways, then my clients, they will come to me and they say, hey, it broke down, fix it. And I will need to know how to fix it. And number two, I will have to, whatever I get from my clients, I have to pay that guy to do it for me. Then what's the point, right? So don't feel bad about that, but it's good that now you know, oh, so that thing that I spent that much money on, I could actually do it like this. Interesting. Let's go on. Bear with me. There is still some money to spend on WordPress. Don't get too happy. Not everything is free, but it's much cheaper than the rest, let's say. Next one. Do you remember, do you remember post, how it was predefined? Pages are not like that. Now, so these, forget about these tags. Imagine post says content 1, this says content 2, this one says content 3, this one says content 4. Okay. Content 1 is formatted. Content 2 is formatted only for media files. Content 3 is not formatted at all. You can put whatever you like on it. Okay. You see, blank layout. If you go and create a page, there's nothing on it. Absolutely white. Just now go and start throwing images and media and everything and text onto it. The good thing, because it's blank, it allows you to format it in any shape or form that you like. Any shape or form. It gives you raw HTML rendering. What does it mean? To give a flashback to the question that Hitesh asked, if you want to create something like TransLink website, and you actually have access to the code, you don't need to go and, okay, this is getting too technical. Those people write the code in a software and then import it on the web. Okay, but here we actually have WordPress. WordPress says, hey, you have a code, you want to use your code, it's fine. I will accept that too. All right. So if you have an HTML code, you can just go and drop it. I don't think this is something you will be doing, but there are a few tricks that can be done with this for the tools that we don't have money to spend on, but we want to steal anyway. So this is, I will show you how we can use this to import some functions into our website that are not even from our website. And in the end, again, just like media and post, pages are very, very good SEO tools. I want to show you one example. Again, we will talk about this in the last session, but when it comes to SEO, I wrote SEO in front of media. Yes, even an image can be used for SEO by adding tags, meta tags, data tags into the backend. Nobody will ever see these words except for search engines. So let's say if all I'm doing, I want people who are searching for pizza to see my Techmaster Academy. Do you know what I will do? I'll go to the caption section of every one of my images and write pizza. Oh, damn it, not pizza, pizza. So what will happen is that every time somebody on Google Images is searching pizza, Google is noticing this photo. This photo is connected to which link? That's how you do SEO. It's not a $4,000 a month service. Yes, it is if you don't know how to do it. But again, like I said, you either pay someone to do it for you, or if you're like me and you don't have money, you learn how to do it. There you go. So this is a good example. So when I say these can be used for SEO, that's what exactly I mean. And same story with projects. Projects is very much like posts. It is a predefined post layout, but you can use it for your projects, for the works that you have done. A good example of that would be, see if I can open this one for you. Every project page, this is my company website, the Sketch Bros, right? If you go to blog, a blog post will look like a blog post as it's supposed to do. My computer is going to crash any second. Okay, I'm going to open a blog post here, let's say. Oh my God, no. Don't say. Did I use this for a blog post? I think I did. Yeah. So you see next, previous, and comments and sliders and da 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 and all of these. These are the predefined layouts that come with blog posts. Okay. Now I want to go and take a look at some of the work that I have done before. So I'm going to take a look at this. This one, as you see, again, has previous, next, and stuff. It also has a sidebar with project details and links and everything. It looks pretty much like blog post. This one is a project post. So you see, the naming is irrelevant when it says whether they call it project or post or whatever the hell they call it. There are formatted and non-formatted content. Simple as that. This concludes the content section of WordPress. And as you can see, WordPress itself has put a gap here to say that the content section is over. Then we have the tool section. And this is why WordPress wins every war every time. Because do you remember when I said the sky is the limit? Plugins are the softwares that you can add. It's an add-on software, right? You can add to a WordPress website. We will get to, in our next slide, I'm going to show you some examples. Themes, for example, are again softwares that you can add to your WordPress website and allow you to customize the looks of your website. Just like ClickFunnels, you saw the looks of it, right? It had its own shade. That's a theme. The only problem, ClickFunnels uses one theme only. WordPress, you can use any theme that you like. Any theme that you like. Now, some of my favorite themes, to be very honest, number one, Divi. And by the way, when you download this file from our Google Shared folder, the links are already embedded. So if you're curious, just click on each one to see what's going on. Especially this guy with his eyebrows going up. I love him. I don't know, do you see it there? I love, like, this is that GIF image. I love it. The reason I downloaded this plugin the first day was actually this guy. And then I realized, oh, it was such a great plugin. So themes, are there few themes? No, again, there are zillions of different themes, but these are my 4 favorite ones. There's Divi. I put it on top because what are the positive points? It's the most dynamic theme that exists. It allows you to modify everything in any shape or form that you want. So if the graphics of your website is important for you, Divi is the way to go. If the graphics of your website. Are there downfalls? Yes, Divi is quite heavy. If you are using Divi on your website, you need to optimize your website really well. Otherwise, your website will be slow. So that's the main issue with Divi. My Number one, honestly, the all-rounder for me is Avada. It's from from a company called Theme Fusion. The one, my own website, Sketch Bros, uses Avada. So it's not, graphically speaking, it is not as interesting as Divi, mainly because everything is sort of boxy. Everything, like, you don't have a lot to play with, okay? But it works clockwork. That's not a question, okay? That's why I like this. Like, this is the first theme that I bought many years ago, and I installed it on Sketch Bros, and I still have it. Last time I did optimization on this website was a year and a half ago. I have not fixed anything, and it still runs rather quickly. I don't need to do anything. And it has even, like, I have added custom CSS. You see, I move my mouse and all of these things move. These are all custom coding, which are supposedly going to slow down the website, but they don't. It's because of the functionality of the theme, or pop-ups, or anything else. Does it make sense? All right. So just because Sherlock always talks about Divi, it doesn't make Divi the best theme that is out there. Oshine is, again, from the same company, from Theme Forest, but it's also a very good, very easy theme to work with, and it's quite light. And finally, Thrive themes. Now, Thrive is a very large family. There's Thrive Architect, there's Thrive blah, blah, blah. Overall, they are well balanced. I have worked with them on a few projects. They were not really problematic. Things can go sideways from time to time, but again, they use a very good builder. Now, that being said, you don't need a theme to set the appearance of your website. You can do that through plugins as well. So basically, what I really want to do right now, I am confident enough to take this and bring it here. And do you know why? Thrive, there is a Thrive theme. If you want, you can go and buy it and download it and everything. But there is also something, a plugin these people have made called Thrive Builder, which is a plugin. It's not a theme. And I'm going to show you in a second what the difference is. Just like many others. Have you heard Elementor? It's pretty much the most famous website builder in all of the world, pretty much. Yes, it is. Like right now, the fight is between Elementor and Divi in terms of which one is number one, okay? Elementor is not a theme. You can actually have Divi on your website and have this plugin. Let me showcase that to you. What exactly we mean by this? I'm going to go to the back end of my TechMaster Academy. I'm going to take a look at appearance, first of all, a section that says themes. Now, like I said, theme is basically a group of adjustments that are put together as a software and you install on your website. They adjust the overall colors of your website, the fonts that you have access to, and everything else. Right? There you go. And I can access it through appearance themes. Plugins, however, there are, again, third-party softwares that you can add. But plugins, let me rephrase it this way. Even theme is a type of a plugin somehow. Does it make sense? It's an add-on to your website. Now, if I want a builder, sure. If you want, you can go to your plugins and you can add a builder. You can actually go and search for Elementor, or what was this one? Thrive Architect. Now there's Thrive theme that you can buy, and there's Thrive Architect. Now, like I said, we are going to have a session. Next session, we are actually going to design. So I'm not going to waste any more time on this, considering that we're almost done with our time for today. But I just wanted to clarify how diverse the tools that you have access to on WordPress are. You can plugins that are builders. This one is one of my favorite plugins that help speed up your website. There's another builder, Beaver Builder. It's actually a Canadian company. It's Beaver. What do you expect? It has to be Canadian. So Yeah, Beaver Builder. It's actually, I prefer Beaver Builder to Elementor. It's much easier to work with, but it's a builder, it's a plugin, it's not a theme. Is the difference between theme and plugin clear? Yeah? Okay, yes, George, please.
I don't know if this is for anyone's benefit, but when I first encountered a theme and when I first encountered plugins, when another web developer helped me on my website, to me, a theme 10 years ago was it was kind of the skin of your website.
Mhm.
A plugin was more like an app, like one shopping cart is a plugin.
That is
So
pretty
the
much correct.
differences were a bit more sharp. Now it's almost like they're almost the same.
Yes, as the time developed, themes started to add functions into themselves, and plugins started to have appearance modules into themselves. So that's why, exactly as you say today, it's very difficult to tell the difference between theme and plugin, because in the end, I just want to show you in a second. Let me see if I have it here in my downloads. I downloaded a plugin last night. Here, this is an Instagram feed plugin. It was an interesting plugin. You see the format? It's a zip file, right? Now, if I go to my themes, what kind of file is this? It's again a zip file. They're even rendered in the same way. So yes, absolutely, George, you're right on the money. Now, if that is done, I just want to quickly say, I want to wrap it up by getting to this point and saying, all right, what do we mean by web design? Is it really about beauty? Is it about design? Is it about necessarily everything being harmonious with each other? No, there is a misconception that when we say web design, it's like art, which is not. Now, it's nobody likes an ugly page, and yes, everybody wants their pages to look as good as possible. But when I say web design, it's mainly about proportions on the whole page, proportions of sections, and not proportions of colors and so on and so forth. You can create a website with very striking colors and still people spend a lot of time on it. And I will show you why. Can anyone help me? Now, George, don't shoot me because I know this is right down your alley. By the way, George is like an interior designer. He's the one of the coolest graphic designers I've ever seen because you have very interesting ideas. But this, I think everybody has seen this thingy, this swirl thing sometime in your life. Does anybody know what this is?
That's like the golden circle or mean or something. It's the ideal proportion, right?
Yes. And do you know who came up with this? Mr. Da Vinci. The reason Da Vinci's paintings are so it's not just Da Vinci. Da Vinci basically got it from some Arab mathematicians. So many years ago, some Arab mathematicians and Persian mathematicians came up with this, with a mathematical formula that said, okay, if there is a set correlation between this amount and this amount. Now that amount might be much larger than the smaller one, but it's all based on multiplication. Now, Da Vinci, what he did is that he got all of those formulas and he created this, saying that for something to be the most pleasant to the eye, it needs to follow this golden ratio. And many people laughed and many people didn't follow. But to be very honest, the reason Da Vinci's paintings are Da Vinci's paintings is that he himself follows this rule in every single one of his paintings. Have you ever noticed the best example would be Mona Lisa? People don't know how to look at Mona Lisa. That's why they get stuck looking at it for hours. If you take this ratio and move it 90 degrees to the left, so keep it like, what do you call standing? Okay, so it's standing like this. Mona Lisa's face falls pretty much close to the center of this swirl. All right. That is why people don't know which side of it. All sides of Mona Lisa looks interesting. Even the lower side of the painting, the colors, the distance, the gap between stuff is all because of this. So what do I mean by that? Does it really matter? Is it really important? Yes, as you can see, Google is using the same model. And if Google is doing something, I can guarantee that it's correct. This is a study they did on Google search results, on which parts of the search result people pay the most attention to. And surprisingly, the same rule applies to every web page. Let me give you an example. When I look at this one, this national Nat Geo page, where do you see the most important content here? On the upper left side. The heading is there. When you come a little further down, you see the image that goes with that heading, and then you see the subheading. Why? When it comes to web pages, people spend most of their time looking to, and this is, by the way, because we are English speakers. In other cultures, it is different. So if you're a Farsi speaker and you write right to left, you have to flip the whole thing. Okay, but because we are English speakers, we are used to looking at the left side of the screen. The upper left side of the screen is the most important, becomes the most important part. As you scroll down a page, people spend less and less attention, pay less and less attention. So what am I trying to tell you? You have all seen sales pages, which are very lengthy, which are very, I don't know, full of content, and the people spend hours or maybe days developing them, and they don't sell a cent. Why is that? Because they start by giving text that people don't read. If you want to reach the actual juice of the page, you have to scroll down 3 times to get there. Now, of course, that is good, because if it's a contact form, which is huge or something, you need to put it down there, right? Does it make sense? But nobody stopped you from putting a button here, a call to action button here that says sign up now, that forces people to go to the section of the page that you want. All right. So I just want to get this out of the way, that when we say web design, we are not talking about creating a work of art necessarily, but we are talking about creating a page that forces people to spend more time. If you said one of the best plugins, and we're going to go over plugins right now very quickly. One of the best plugins that exists is SiteKit by Google. It gives you the analytics of your web page, of how much time people spend, and it actually shows you which section of which page people spend more time on. So if for your own, if you don't do this, you are wasting your money and time having a website. If you don't know, people spend more time on which section of which site, of which page, right? But right now, I already know, based on Business Tech Masterclass, I know that when it comes to my pages, people spend the most amount of time, surprisingly, on my homepage, not the content page. And when it comes to homepage, people spend most of their time in the second section, not the header. And I will just show you why. And I know you're all tired, and today I talked a lot. Sorry about that. But these were necessary, so next session we can actually start doing stuff. Okay, anyway, so I was surprised to learn that when people, do you still see me or am I frozen?
I see you.
Okay, good. So it's not
Yeah,
completely
we see you.
frozen. Okay, my computer is going like, help. So I realized that people first, and when I was doing A/B testing, when I made it, and I shared the link with some random people who didn't even know me, I shared the link so that they would click on it. When they loaded the page, most people closed the page after 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Why? Because my page said Tech Master Academy, let's learn business tech together. And that this button was not here. Okay. And this, do you see this header, the graph and everything? This was a full page. So when what people were seeing was everything you see from up here, all the way to the bottom of this gray area. That's what they were saying. What did I do? I shortened this section so they know, oh, there's the rest of the page. And I added an anchor link that in this case, if I click it, you will see it will take people to another page, to the sales page that I made. Okay. Anyway, that's pointless. Just by adding this white section, people started scrolling down and spending time here. Just by doing that. Simple as that. My purpose was to get people here. And when they are here, my purpose was to get people here. Right? That white space was all that I needed. And I didn't know it. Now, the time that people are spending on homepage itself, homepage alone, based on Google Analytics, is around 4 minutes, which is 3 minutes higher than the average. The average is 1 minute, okay? And the bounce rate, which we will get to later, it means how many people come here and they close the window without visiting your other pages. So the bounce rate should be low. If your bounce rate is 0, it means people are always coming, visiting all of your pages. The average bounce rate is 60%. It means 60% of people who go and visit a website, the landing page of a website, in this case is homepage, 60% of people close the window. Okay. My bounce rate on this website still, to be very honest, is around 60%. My bounce rate on this one, surprisingly, is now 20%. It means 80% of people who land, they take their time and go through the content on the homepage. And it all happened after I entered that white space. So we will talk about design. I just wanted to show you what exactly I mean by this golden ratio and so on and so forth. And let's finalize it. I wanted to list the most useful WordPress plugins. After listing these, I got tired. No, seriously. Do you know why? Can you guess how many WordPress plugins are there for you to choose from?
Tens of millions?
Thousands?
Oh,
Oh, 60
there you
something.
go.
Over 60,000. Now, it's technically, okay, here's the thing, Hitesh. Yes, there are tens of millions actually. 60,000 of them are approved by WordPress. I can write a WordPress plugin and I put it on my own website and you can come and download it from my website. You don't have to download it from WordPress themselves. The links that I put here, what do I mean by that? If I want to download Forminator, when I click on it, I go to a wordpress.org page where I can download Forminator, this guy. Okay. So yes, there are actually millions that are not hosted on WordPress. Okay. But 60,000 approved WordPress plugins. So I wrote these. I was like, you know what? Screw it. Just, if you read, I can only tell you one thing. You want something done, there is a plugin for it. You want anything done, there is a plugin for it. I made a website where people were getting, and by the way, I put a link here for you as well. So this goes to the mother page for WordPress plugins, and you can just search for the plugins that you want. Go and research, hey, which plugins can I use to do this? Do you remember that hiding, like at this time, reveal this? Yeah, there is a plugin that sits on top of Divi and does that. Easy. And they say on top of Divi, I tried it with Avada, the other theme, and it still worked. Yeah, sure, why not? Right? Or pop-ups or anything else. Go ahead and search for things that you need. And when you know that 90% of plugins are absolutely free, you don't have to, for the functions that you want, you don't have to pay anything. My sales page is using Forminator, which has name, email address, phone number, the whole information, payment processing, all of it. And this is a free plugin. And yes, George, that's what I use for you. Yes, Lise, that's what I used for you. Yes, everybody else, that's what I used for you. Why would you spend money on something? Because here's the thing, if I want to buy something, sure, as a web designer, I will charge my clients more. Yeah, I had to buy these tools for you. Go ahead and pay for it. But why? It's pointless. Is there a pro version? Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can get more features if you buy the pro version, blah, blah, blah. But Yeah, I didn't need to. This one, for example, does everything that I need. All right. To bring it to an end, my friends, there's no end to plugins. Please search and find what the things that you want. You have an overall understanding of how CMSs work. What is a theme? Do I need to buy a theme, by the way? No, you do not need to buy a theme, because WordPress already has a lot of free themes as well, which are responsive and really cool. So if somebody comes to me and says, hey, I only have $100 and I want a website, I don't say no. I just use a free WordPress theme. Instead of buying a theme for them, I go to appearance, themes, wait for my computer to die. And this is a free theme. You see this one? Go, just add new, add another one. I don't know. Just what do you like? There's a lot. Why am I not a very polite person? There's shit ton of themes, free themes that you can use, and they actually look very good. Right? There you go. So you are thinking of building a website for yourself or your cousin or whoever that you don't want to spend money on it. Come on, install one of these. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Like these are featured ones. If you just go to all of them, you're not gonna. Your finger is gonna hurt. You scroll so many times. So that being said, my friends, let's finalize this. Are you ready? Now, every person here has some sort of a platform. You already own a website, or you have ClickFunnels, or whatever that you have. Please go ahead. First, your homework, which none of you submitted. George, you didn't submit. Sitesh, you didn't submit. Lise, you didn't submit. Your sales, TJ, you didn't submit. Your sales, yeah, you don't hear me, huh? Yeah, hello. I'm in a tunnel. Sorry, I don't hear you. Guys, I want you to go ahead and write your sales funnel, your sales process, because now your week 2 homework is based on that. If you don't do that, your week 2 homework it's gonna just accumulate on top of each other. So please get on it ASAP. I want you to write an outline of all the functions your web pages should serve. This is hand in hand with your sales funnel. Like, yes, on my sales funnel, I decided that I'm gonna need 6 different pages. And my first page should be an opt-in page, and it should get people's information. My second page should do this. My third page should do this. Okay. Go ahead and write an outline of all the functions that your web pages should serve. Okay. So yes, collect people's names and emails, collect people's money, slap them in the face. I don't know, whatever you want people to do. Yes, WordPress can do that too, by the way. Choose a web platform for your project. Now, every person I know here has a WordPress website. TJ, I know you have a WordPress website. Don't smile like that. I will punch you. By the way, TJ is my friend, like close friend here. So yes, I can punch him. Don't worry about it. And because he's been a little lazy lately, busy. Sorry. So please go ahead and do that.
Studying for Canadian board exam.
Yeah, sure. Okay. I know. So if you have another platform, you are more than welcome to try another platform. What I'm teaching here is not for one specific person or one specific platform. So the rules apply to all of them. Just that your hands are tied on some, your hands are not tied on the other. You should actually, honestly, if you have a project coming up, that's why I wrote for your next project, the platform you select, this has to do with the functions that you want it to serve. So go on first, when you write the functions, then you can go and see, okay, should I go WordPress, ClickFunnels, this or that? Go and do a little bit of research about it. If yes, the function that you want, no matter what it is manageable on WordPress, but sometimes it can be very difficult and time consuming to develop it. Then if that's the case, why not open an account on ClickFunnels and get it done there? You know what I mean? So it really, the first step is very important. do the second step, so select. And but I want you to explain to me why you made that choice. Not of one page, write 2 lines for me. I decided to go with Infusionsoft because it gives me this and this, and it's easy. I decided to go with WordPress because I already have a WordPress website and blah, blah. If you say, I already have a WordPress website done, that's not good enough. Anybody can have a WordPress website. It's an open source. Did you know that you don't even need hosting? You can run WordPress on your own computer and let your computer can be your hosting. The only thing is that every time you shut down your computer, your website is down too. Right? So just, I had a WordPress website, so I'm going with WordPress is not a good enough answer for me. I'm going to need, based on the functions, I'm going to need an explanation of why you have selected that. Create a simple page. Yes, create a page, no matter how scary it is. If you are on WordPress, it's super easy. I haven't taught WordPress yet. Like I said, in our next session, we're going to do it together. So but don't work on the pages that already exist. If you're on WordPress, simply go on pages, add new. That's it. That's all you need to do. Just that, no matter what tool you're using, at least I know that your website runs Elementor. Okay. So the other 2 gentlemen here are running, George and Hitesh are running Divi. I think, TJ, I think your website is running Elementor as well, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't logged into your website yet. I will hack into your website later today. But anyway, if you're on WordPress, which you are, click Add New. The first thing you do must do is to choose a name for it. And please, computer, don't die. I'm going to need more RAM. Okay, let's call this. Oh, Sherlock, just shut up.
I love the titles.
Yes, me too. Now, notice what happens when I click in this blank area. Wait for it. Wait for it. You see, now the WordPress is creating the page based on that name. And if my computer doesn't die in about, right now, you should be seeing a permalink here that says techmasteracademy.com/, oh, Sherlock, just shut up. Oh, there you go. Right? Do you see it? Now, the beauty of WordPress is that you can simply modify this if you want. Why? Because I want to have a sense of humor. I want when people land here, I want them to see the name up here, the name they see. I want them to see, oh, Sherlock, just shut up. But when I'm sharing the link with them, I want the link to be techmasteracademy.com professional. True story. Makes no difference. So this is a permalink, and this is your title. They don't need to be the same thing. They can, by default, they are set to be the same thing. Okay? So go ahead. Ready? And by the way, you remember I said page is a blank canvas? You see nothing on it. It's completely white. I'm going to click publish. Ready? Set. Come on. Oh, my computer. Anyway, once it publishes, you have made a simple page. Congratulations. So this is what I want you to do for your homework. But go ahead and play around with whatever tool. In this case, on this website, I'm using Divi. Whatever tool that you have. If you have Elementor, click, customize with Elementor. If you have Divi, use Divi Builder. Go ahead and add some content. I want you to go ahead and add here, I'm going to click this, for example, add a section, add a row, add a couple of columns, or automatically they come with columns, add some content and save it. Because next session, we're going to play around with these. We're going to see how other people see our web pages. that the thing we see here is not necessarily how everybody else is looking at it. And we're going to learn how to debug our website. And my computer is officially dead. I need to start closing stuff. Sorry about that. Yeah, everything is like, come on. Anyway, back to your homework, my friends. So please go ahead and do that and try to start by using a template. If you have access, every Divi Builder has templates. Elementor has templates. Go ahead and, if you like, you can start with a template. Just import a template and save it. Done. Or if you like, you can just add the sections and everything yourself. If you cannot do it, and if you get confused, don't feel bad at all, because we are going to do it on our Tuesday, which is our practice session. So don't worry about it. I just want you to be more familiar with the web page and the tools that you yourself have on your website today. Once you're done, if you have another domain, this is optional. This is a practice of something we learned last session. If you already have another domain that you're not using, forward that domain to this page. Do you remember how we did that? If you can, even mask it. Why not? If you don't have a domain, don't buy another one. Don't waste your money. That's why I put this as optional. Makes no difference. Next session, I am going to do this on screen with you anyway. So, but if you have another domain, go ahead and do this as a practice. It's actually very good. And finally, share that link, either the link of the page, or if you did this one, the domain, whichever. Share that link on our Facebook support group. All right, guys, I am all done. Thank you very much for your time, and we are going to see each other on the following session. I have a private message from George for another awesome and everything. I think George is leaving us. George, don't leave. I'm going to stop recording. So for the sake of the recording, see you next session, but don't go anywhere.